Hi, my name's Dawn. I'm from Sussex. I'm originally from Yorkshire and moved to South East London when I was 8 years old. I grew up in a very loving, warm family with my mum, dad and my older brother, and I was always very rebellious. I started going to college in Charing Cross Road in the West End, and once I joined college I absolutely excelled. I loved it, loved being in the business world and learning all about that. Eventually I moved into investment banking. My job was corporate hospitality, so it involved taking people out and drinking every day. There was drug taking and a very debauched kind of lifestyle. This looked on the outside like a fantastic job and career, but really inside I felt empty. I didn't like myself. I felt like I had a hole in my soul. I then settled in Burgess Hill and got married, and then I had my first son Jake, and then when I was 30 I had my second son Dylan. Sadly that marriage didn't last, and I became a single mum and was working full-time within the sales industry. I used alcohol to cope with my divorce and really used alcohol to deal with any type of emotion that I had, and then I realised it was getting out of control because I couldn't actually stop when I wanted to. So I decided to join a 12-step fellowship, which really helped and made me understand the triggers of why I was drinking. But the thing was that was my first introduction to the word God, which I really wasn't comfortable with at all. Then I decided to open my pottery painting studio. It was all going very well, but unfortunately I got very, very ill with Crohn's disease and was in hospital for 2 months. And as a single mum, I couldn't keep it all going on my own anymore and couldn't afford to keep running my business. So I lost my business, I had to sell my house, and I had to declare bankruptcy. I then met my second husband in the 12-step fellowship. It then led to the worst experience of my life. I became the victim of domestic abuse, which then led me to me drinking again. After the birth of my third son Harvey, I thought I could control it, but clearly I couldn't. Cocaine was then introduced into our relationship, which led to serious addiction and then complete despair. I couldn't carry on in the relationship. I wanted to get out of it. I couldn't get out of the relationship, and I couldn't stop taking cocaine. I tried so many times and I just couldn't do it. And I just reached the point where I felt suicidal. I just thought that I couldn't carry on. I hated myself and I didn't want to live anymore the way that I was. But I just couldn't see any way out. And I remember this particular evening, I just dropped to my knees and I begged God for help. And I'm happy to say that it's been nearly 3 years and I'm completely free of addiction. Later on, an even worse event occurred when my estranged husband then at the time returned back to the house and tried to kill me, and this was done in front of our son Harvey. It was horrific. He was arrested. I was taken to hospital by paramedics, and thankfully there was no permanent damage to my windpipe. But when I did leave the hospital, I had this overwhelming presence of God, that the Holy Spirit was in my heart, and I just felt like I was having this conversation with God, with Jesus. I didn't know it. I just didn't know what it was, but I understood. I knew what I needed to do and how I was able to cope with everything that happened after. I then had to meet the domestic violence support worker. She said we needed to meet in a safe place on neutral territory. She said, I want you to meet me at this place. There's a big blue building on an industrial estate called the King's Church. Can you meet me in the coffee shop there? And I did, and that was the first time I came into the church. When I came in, I just knew it was the right place for me to be. I just felt that I'd come home, this is where I wanted to be, and I've been coming to the church since. I've had healing prayer for me at this church. I'm now able to walk around without a Zimmer frame because I was at the point where I was so poorly with Crohn's and the side effects of the immunosuppressants that I couldn't even leave the house. And I'm now off most of the medication that I was on, which is amazing. I've done the Alpha course with Kieran and Bobby, which was brilliant. It just answered all those questions that I had. It was just an amazing experience that I felt that, yeah, this was going to be my new life. And so that's why I'm doing the First Steps course at the beginning of October, and that's why I want to get baptised today, because I want to put my old life behind me and move forward with my new relationship with Jesus. Thank you. Where'd you end it?